Yes friends, how are you doing? Wadau, mambo vipi? Mpo poa? Yeah, greetings from Iringa, Tanzania. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you about my recently concluded Southern Africa adventure. A lot of you have asked me to tell you about my experiences, the visa formalities, how to cross the borders, the bus fare, the flight fare, the accommodation in places I visited. So in this video, I'm going to give you all the detailed information you need to know if you are thinking of going to South Africa, or if you are thinking of doing a Southern Africa adventure. If you are thinking to travel from Dar es Salaam to South Africa by bus or by flight, then this video will be helpful for you. So and in this video I will try to mix languages, friends. I apologize because for those who maybe don't understand Swahili, I will be mixing English and Swahili because you know Swahili is a popular language in Tanzania, and though I did that adventure in English, still some of my people here wanted to ask you some questions which I had already explained in the video. Yes, because of language barrier. So I will be trying to mix so as to accommodate some of my viewers here who are Swahili speakers. So let's do this. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, like this video and share it to your friend. Yeah, so let's continue, friends, with our adventure from Dar es Salaam to Southern Africa. So your adventure will automatically start in Dar es Salaam. So there are my friends from Uganda, from Kenya, Burundi, who have just contacted me. Automatically you will just come to Dar es Salaam, and from Dar es Salaam is where I started my adventure. So automatically you will start your adventure at Dar es Salaam, and in Dar es Salaam you have to go to Magufuli bus terminal. So at Magufuli bus terminal is where you will make your way to Zambia. And let me tell you one thing. There are two ways in which you can just make this adventure. You can use a direct bus from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka, Zambia, or from Dar es Salaam to Harare, Zimbabwe, or from Dar es Salaam to Lilongwe, Malawi. So you can get those buses at Magufuli bus terminal. So I used the Zambia route, the Lusaka route. So I just traveled from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka. So if you wanted to use direct bus, you will go to Magufuli bus terminal, and there are 3 bus companies currently doing that, playing the direct route from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka, Zambia. And these buses are the Mashallah. There is a classic bus. Classic bus. It's called classic bus that goes to Lusaka, Zambia, and Mashallah bus, and Falcon bus. So these 3 bus companies are doing direct route from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka, Zambia. So I don't know if they are just going daily, but I think they are just going. So they are going direct to Lusaka, Zambia, and the bus fare is around $50 $50 for a direct bus from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka, Zambia. So for those bus, so for Tanzanian shillings, it means it's like 120,000 Tanzanian shillings. Kwa hiyo kama unataka kwenda Lusaka, Zambia, kuna mabasi aina 3 au makampuni matatu ambayo yanakwenda Zambia. Kuna hiyo Mashallah, kuna hiyo Classic, kuna jina la kwanza hapo CJM Classic, kitu kama hicho utaulizia utapata. Alafu kuna Falcon. Hayo yenyewe wanafanya safari ya moja kwa moja kutoka Dar es Salaam kwenda Lusaka Zambia. Kwa hiyo unaweza ukalipa $50. $50 ukizibadilisha kwenye pesa zetu hizi hapa za Kitanzania ni kama $100,000 na kama na 30 hivi, au $100,000 na 25 hivi. Ukifika pale watakuelezea. Kwa hiyo hapo utapanda gari la moja kwa moja kutoka Dar es Salaam kwenda Lusaka Zambia. And remember, it's a very long journey. It's a very long adventure from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka Zambia. So if you take direct bus, you will use like 2 days. It means from morning around 6 a.m. you will get to Tunduma. Yeah, there is another alternative. You don't have just to stress yourself doing a direct route from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka Zambia. You can just make your way to Tunduma border. That's what I did. So you can just take a bus from Dar es Salaam to Mbeya. From Dar es Salaam to Mbeya, and the fare is around 40,000 Tanzanian shillings. 40,000 Tanzanian shillings. Dar es Salaam to Mbeya. It's like $20, and you will sleep at Mbeya. So from Mbeya, next morning you will make your way from Mbeya to Tunduma. So it's like 5,000 Tanzanian shillings. So at Tunduma, and then you will cross Tunduma border, and from Tunduma border there you will just get your transport to Lusaka. So about the border formalities, yeah, first of all you have to possess the requirements, the travel documents. You have to have your international passport, and then you have to have your yellow fever card, yellow fever vaccination card, and you must have a COVID certificate. Though nowadays they don't emphasize on COVID certificate, but you have to have it to be in a safe side, because crossing border is not a joke, my friend. These African borders, and especially the Tunduma Nakonde border, so don't give them chance to exhort you, to ask you for money. So make sure that you have your required document. So if you have that, you will go to the border, at Nakonde border, Tunduma border, on Tanzanian side, and you will get there, and you will show your COVID certificate, and those guys, I think you have to, there is a certain way which they just make you to pay something. So I have to be frank with you. So at least have at least 5,000 Tanzanian shillings to live there at the inspection of this yellow fever card. From there you will go to the counter to stamp your exit, and from there they will ask you questions, because migrations have obligation to ask you where you are going and the aim of your journey. That's where they will just they'll make some environment, very difficult environment for you. They will ask you, so you have to know your stuff very well. You have to know where you are going, the aim of your journey. If you are Tanzanian, why are you going? Where are you going? If you are going to Zambia, to do what? So they will ask you questions. It's not an easy border, so you have to make sure that you are prepared, and make your way, and know your way to talk to them, and so if they will be satisfied, they will just stamp you exit stamp. If you are from other nationalities, if you are Kenyan, Ugandan, Burundian, then you have to know your stuff very well. You have to know where you are going, the aim of you, everything. So you will explain to them, and then they will stamp you. And if you know what I'm saying, This is Africa, and it's a sad reality at the borders. And from there you will go to Zambian border. There is another hectic place. The Zambians, first of all, they will ask you, why are you going to Zambia? So you have to explain and explain and explain, and so if you are you have your genuine reason, they will stamp you in. If you don't have genuine reason, they will give you difficult time. So you have to prepare yourself. That's the reality, my friends. That's the reality of that border. It's not an easy border to cross. Many people have faced a lot of difficulties. Kwa hiyo vijana wa Tanzania mnaoenda labda South Africa na nini, mjiandae. Nakonde Tunduma boda sio sehemu rahisi, sio boda rahisi kuvuka, lazima ujiandae. Utafika pale, kwanza kuna watu pale, hili ni boda ya ajabu sana ambao nimeona. Kuna watu kama madalali wako pale, yani kwa ajili vipi unaenda wapi bwana, tukusaidie na nini na nini na nini. Kwa hiyo ndio hivyo. Kwa hiyo kama wewe ni msafiri ambao hauna uzoefu na vitu kama hivyo, na kama wewe hauna uzoefu, ni bora uongee. Kama umepanda basi, ongea na makonda wa basi. Waambie bana, mimi naenda hivi na hivi na hivi. Wale wa jamaa wanajua, watakusaidia namna gani ya kuvuka pale. Lakini vinginevyo kama ukienda kichwa watakupiga pesa nyingi sana. Kwa hiyo kama wewe sio mzoefu, kijana wa Tanzania sio mzoefu wa kusafiri, ndio unaenda huko kwa mara ya kwanza, ni vizuri ujisalimishe kwa konda, mwambie bana, konda mimi nasafiri naenda sehemu fulani, lakini ndio kama hivyo, mazingira yangu ndio kama hayo bana, sijawahi kuvuka boda na nini, atakusaidia na nini, kuliko kuwatumia wale jamaa wako pale ambao kama madalali mle ndani, watakupiga hela nyingi sana. Kwa hiyo ndio hivyo. Kwa hiyo ukishavuka boda pale na nini, ndio hivyo. So that's how to cross border, Tunduma Nakonde border. It's not an easy border to cross. Lots of exhortation there. Those guys, they are corrupt. That's the study reality. So after crossing the border, and by now I think from Dar es Salaam to Tunduma border, Nakonde border, you have used 45,000 Tanzanian shillings, which is like it's like $20, yeah, by now. It means if you did not take a direct bus, you will have to sleep at Nakonde. So there are lots of guest houses there at Nakonde. I slept at Nakonde guest house, and I paid 200 kwacha. So 200 kwacha, you can get less than that in those particular places, and you will have to sleep there, and you have to sleep at Nakonde, and you just wait for the bus the next morning. So there are a lot of buses. After crossing the border, you will have to go to at a bus station where there are a lot of buses that are doing a direct route from Nakonde to Lusaka, Zambia. Nakonde to Lusaka, Zambia. So you do your reservation there, and the standard fare is 550 kwacha. It's 550 kwacha. 550 kwacha is like $25 US. So 550 kwacha is the standard fare, but you can negotiate. If they don't have enough passengers, they can take you less than that. I paid 400 kwacha from Nakonde to Lusaka, and I used Jordan Motors, but there are other buses companies there that are doing that route from Nakonde to Lusaka, Zambia. So if you are just doing, if you are you have traveled by yourself, you did not use a direct bus, I think you will have to sleep at Nakonde, and then the next morning you take the direct bus. So what you have to do after crossing the border, after being stamped from Tanzanian side and Zambian side, just go direct to the bus station, book your bus, and then book your bus ticket, and then find an affordable lodge there, sleep there, because the buses start their journey around 3 a.m. Next morning. Yeah, so mda ukishavuka boda pale upande wa Tanzania na upande wa Zambia wakikugongea, kama haupo kwenye basi la moja kwa moja, basi itabidi ulale pale Nakonde, kwa sababu mabasi yanatoka pale saa 9 usiku. Kwa hiyo ni lazima ulale Nakonde pale. Kuna lodge tu za bei nafuu. Mimi nilipata lodge pale kwa kwacha 200. Kwacha 200 ni kama shilingi kama shilingi 15,000 hivi za Tanzania. Kwa hiyo utaangalia hapo, nitaweka exchange rate hapo, lakini sio hela nyingi sana. Kwacha 200, lakini unaweza kupata chini ya hiyo kwacha 200, kwacha 150 mpaka kwacha 100 unaweza kupata sehemu ya kulala. Kwa hiyo unalala pale. Ukishagongewa pale upande wa Tanzania na upande wa Zambia, unaweza ukaenda kwenye basi, kwenye kituo cha basi pale utauliza. Yaani hata huna haja kuuliza, maana yake utafuata tu barabara moja kwa moja, utafika mpaka stand ambao kuna mabasi, then utakata tiketi. Mabasi ambayo yanaenda Lusaka moja kwa moja. Mimi nilitumia basi ya kampuni ya Jordan Motors. Kwa hiyo nikalipa kwacha, nauli ni kwacha 550. Kwacha 550 ni kama shilingi tuseme kwa 40 hivi za Tanzania. Sasa hiyo 550 ndo nauli halisi, lakini unaweza kuongea nao kama wao hawana abiria wa kutosha, wanaweza kupunguza. Mimi tumepunguzana nao mpaka nikafika kwenye kwacha 400. Kwa hiyo kwacha 400 kama shilingi kwa 40 hivi nitaweka hapo conversion rate. And then ukishapata tiketi yako basi unatulia pale, unatafuta sehemu ya kulala. And then asubuhi saa 9 asubuhi mabasi yanaanza safari ya moja kwa moja kutoka Lusaka, kutoka Nakonde kwenda Lusaka. So around 3 a.m. in the morning, you will continue with your journey. Now, you will be doing more than 1,000 kilometers from Nakonde to Lusaka, Zambia. It's a very, very long and tiresome journey. We are talking about more than 1,000 kilometers of bad roads and some sections good roads. So, it's just an adventure. So some section of that road is called the Great North Road, that connects Nakonde at the border of Tanzania and Zambia and Lusaka, which is at the middle of the country. So that road has a lot of sections which are not in a very good condition. So you will pass through towns such as Chinsali, Mpika, Serenje, Kapirimposhi, Kabwe, and then Lusaka. So at Mpika is where there is a break for toilet and a breakfast. So you will spend about 15 minutes there at at Mpika. It has a very nice station, and there are a lot of food there. You can just choose from chicken, chipsy, and so there are a lot of varieties there. So there is where you'll get your breakfast, and then after that you'll continue with your journey to Serenje, Kapirimposhi, Kabwe, and finally Lusaka, Zambia. So you will get to Lusaka, Zambia around 4 p.m. So around 4 p.m. So if you are a budget traveler, you can sleep at Lusaka Intercity. It's a nice place. So there are a lot of people there. It's a 24 hours bus station, so you can just get time to sleep there if you are on budget. And tomorrow morning you continue with your adventure to South Africa. But if you use, for example, the bus I used, Jordan Motors, you will just drop at Jordan Motors office. They have their private office, so you can just sleep there as well. And if you're going to South Africa, you're going to continue the next morning because they have buses to South Africa. So that's how you can travel from Nakonde to Lusaka, a direct bus, and you will start your journey around 3 a.m. in the morning, and you will get to Lusaka around 10 p.m. Ndio wadau. Kwa hiyo kama utakuwa umelala Nakonde, kama ukuchukua basi la moja kwa moja, kwa hiyo ukilala Nakonde pale umeshakata tiketi yako, and then utakuwa katika mazingira mazuri. Sasa asubuhi yake saa 9 unaenda pale kituoni, unachukua basi. Sasa hilo ni basi la moja kwa moja mpaka Lusaka, Zambia. Na hiyo barabara inaitwa the Great North, ambayo ina connect Lusaka pamoja na ina connect Lusaka pamoja na Nakonde, ambayo iko kwenye boda. Na kitu cha kustajabisha kabisa ni kwamba ukifika tu Tunduma upande wa Zambia, barabara imekuwa ni mbaya, hamna lami pale. Kwa hiyo manake utapita kwenye barabara mbovu kishenzi. Kwa hiyo ni vizuri upite wakati wa kiangazi kidogo, na kwa sawa. Lakini kuna baadhi ya maeneo yana lami, lakini maeneo mengine hayana lami. Sana mwanzoni huko. Lakini ukishafika kwenye mji wa Mpika, kuendelea kule mbele, barabara ina lami, japokuwa mashimo na nini. Kiukweli barabara sio nzuri sana, tofauti na hii ambayo utasafiri kutoka Dar es Salaam mpaka Tunduma. Kwa hiyo utapita kwenye miji ya Chinsali, utapita Mpika, utapita Serenje, utapita Kapirimposhi, na vitu tulisoma Kapirimposhi kwenye geography. Utapita Kabwe, Kapirimposhi ndio hiyo reli ya Tazara inaishia, alafu utafika Zambia. Kwa hiyo ukianza safari saa 9 alfajiri, maana yake utafika Zambia majira ya saa 4 usiku. Kwa hiyo ukifika Zambia pale Lusaka Intercity unaweza kulala pale kituoni. Ni kituo ambacho kiko busy masaa 24. Kwa hiyo unaweza kulala tu pale kama unaelekea South Africa, kesho yake unaweza kupata basi la kwenda South Africa. Mabasi yako ni mengi sana. Lakini ukipanda basi la Jordan Motors kutoka Nakonde mpaka Lusaka yanaishia kwenye ofisi yao ya Jordan Motors, lakini ofisi nzuri, unaweza ukalala pale kama uko kwenye budget, unaja kwenda kutafuta lodge, ukalala pale, asubuhi yake ukaunganisha kwenda South Africa. Kwa hiyo hiyo ndio jinsi ambavyo unaweza kusafiri kutoka Nakonde mpaka Lusaka, ni direct bus na nauli yake ndio kama hiyo kwacha 550, unaweza kubagaini mpaka kwenye kwacha 400 hapo, kama wana abiria sana wanakubeba, ambayo ni kama shilingi 40 hivi za Tanzania. Lusaka is a very nice city. I mean, it's the capital city of Zambia, so you can just decide to stay there for some few days, explore the city. Yeah, it's up to you. I didn't go direct to South Africa, but I spent about 3 days in Lusaka, exploring Lusaka. So there are a lot of videos about Lusaka, you can watch them. So with regard to accommodation, you can get some lodges, and I advise you to take some lodges that are outside the city center, because they are at least modern and they are good. For example, I stayed at Nagodi Lodge for 250 kwacha, 250 kwacha. So I stayed there at Nagodi Lodge. It's near the Hero Stadium, opposite the Novea Mall. So it's a very nice place. You can take a daladala there from town city center to that place. But if you decided to stay around to town or Lusaka city center, you can get some lodges there. So around 25 kwacha to 300 kwacha, you can be able to get accommodation there, and food and everything, it's very cheap in Zambia. So food, there are a lot of restaurants, affordable restaurants, where you can just eat. So for example, if you have a budget of $40 per day, you can survive in Lusaka. $40 per day for food and accommodation and the transport, enough for you to explore the city. So but if you don't want to explore Lusaka, you have an option of taking a direct bus from Lusaka intercity to Johannesburg. So but if you want to explore the city, you can do it. You are in Lusaka now and you want to go to Johannesburg. It's very simple. There are a lot of luxury buses that are doing direct routes from they are doing direct route from Lusaka intercity to Johannesburg, South Africa, and the fare is 1,500 kwacha, 1,500 Zambian kwacha, which is like $85 and like 200,000 Tanzanian shillings. Kwa hiyo 200,000 ya Kitanzania itakutoa kutoka Lusaka mpaka Johannesburg moja kwa moja. And here I want to emphasize one thing. I mean, there are two ways from Lusaka. There are two ways which you can travel from Lusaka to Johannesburg, South Africa. You can travel from Lusaka to Johannesburg through Zimbabwe, or through Harare, Zimbabwe, or the border, that Bridge border, and the Chirundu border. That is the first alternative. And the second alternative, you can travel from Lusaka to Johannesburg, South Africa, through Botswana. That is Kazingula border between Zambia and Botswana, and Martin Drift or Grover's Bridge border between Botswana and South Africa. But if I'm to advise you, I can advise you to avoid the Zimbabwe route. The Chirundu border, Beit Bridge border. You know, those Zambians immigrations are very greedy. Zimbabweans and Zambians immigration at Chirundu are very greedy. You know, they can just demand money from you, and you know, these African borders, and the Beit Bridge border. So I can advise you to use the Botswana route. The Botswana route is straightforward. You know, there is no any issue at the border. So you get at the border, they will just stamp you up to South Africa. You will not be asked any form of money. So I advise you to use the Botswana route for your convenience. It's very straightforward, and there is no longo we say in Kiswahili. There is no kona along the way. Kwa hiyo ningewashauri labda vijana wa Tanzania ambao wanakwenda South Africa, kama inawezekana avoid border ya usipite Zimbabwe. Maana yake kutoka Zambia usiende Zimbabwe, maana yake usipite Chirundu border. Chirundu border ina changamoto sana, wale watu wanatamaa sana wale pale Chirundu, pamoja na Beit Bridge. Lakini ukipita border hii ya Botswana ambayo hiyo ni Kazungula border, hiyo haina longolongo, ni moja kwa moja mpaka South Africa. Hautoombwa pesa wala nini. Kwa hiyo kama nilivyosema, kama una changamoto na nini ya lugha, ongea na konda wa basi, mwambie bwana mimi naenda na changamoto na nini, atajua namna gani atakusaidia kwenye borders. Lakini hakuna shida na hutakiwi kulipa chochote kwenye border, unaona, kwa sababu kama ni Mtanzania una passport ya Tanzania, ni free movement mpaka South Africa, hutakiwi kulipa chochote katika border. Na kama ukilazimika kupita Zimbabwe, then unawaambia bwana mimi nipo kwenye transit na kwenda South Africa, wala hawana haja ya kukuzuia, kwa sababu unapita uingie Zimbabwe, unaenda moja kwa moja South Africa. Lakini kutokana na ndio hivyo na nini, njaa na nini, ndio hivyo, kama ukiamua kupita huko utajua utaandaa mazingira fulani na nini. Lakini ukipita border ya Botswana hakuna mambo kama hayo. Kwa hiyo hapo kama nilivyosema kwamba bus fare ni kwacha 1500 ambayo ni sawa na kama 192, tuseme 200 za Kitanzania. Kwacha 1500 ambayo ni sawa na dola kama 85 hivi, $85 from Lusaka, Zambia to Johannesburg, South Africa. And along the way in the border, at the borders, you don't have to pay. A lot of people have been asking me, do you have to pay at the border? You don't have to pay, provided that you have your valid documentations, you have your passport, yellow fever, COVID certificate. You don't have to pay. If you are a Tanzanian, you don't have to pay. If you are a Kenyan, you don't have to pay, kwa sababu Kenya nowadays is visa free to South Africa. Kwa hiyo you don't have to pay anything along the way. You are on transit, yeah. So you tell them I'm going to South Africa. If it's Botswana border, they will just stamp you out, and there's no problem. Now you are in Johannesburg, South Africa. Hey, welcome to Joburg, friend. Welcome to Johannesburg. Now, as I told you, you don't have to pay anything at the borders. If you have your documentation, you have your passport, yellow fever, COVID certificate, you don't have to pay anything at the border. And if it's your very first time to travel, you are not sure, talk to the bus conductors, the drivers. That's I'm a Kenyan, I'm going to South Africa, help me at the borders. They will help you instead of just going there without telling them, without informing them, and those immigration officials might give you problem. Just inform them. But I know for sure that they will not. If you use this the Botswana route, there is no any problem. If you are from Uganda, there are a lot of Ugandans friends who have asked me, check online. I think Uganda you need a visa to South Africa, so you must secure your visa before you travel. So if you have got your South African visa, there's no problem at the border. You are telling them that I'm going to South Africa, and they will just stamp you in. There's no problem at the borders. So now you are in South Africa. Johannesburg. I think you will reach at Johannesburg around 6 a.m. If you use the Botswana route, and if you use the Zimbabwe route, you will get to Botswana around 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. So yeah, once you get there, these buses will not take you direct to Park Station, which is like the big station there for buses and whatever. So they have their designated stations. So from there, you have to take a taxi or an Uber. South Africa, Johannesburg is not a joke, my friend. It's not a safe city, so you have to know your way. Don't walk around if you don't know, it's your first time. Don't just walk there from there. No, you just take a taxi to your accommodation, to your hotel. Make sure that you know where you are going. Otherwise, they will just rob you there at the point where you have just dropped. You drop when you are just going there asking around, my friend. Don't do that in Johannesburg. So make sure that you have just booked your hotel or a place where you will go to stay. So I stayed at Brafontein Braamfontein. I mean, it's like a neighborhood, safe neighborhood in the CBD. So I took a taxi. So you have to prepare around 100 rand for taxi to your hotel. So I stayed at Hotel Banista in Braamfontein, and I recommend you to stay there. If you are new to the city, you don't know where to stay, it's around it's almost 600 rand per accommodation per day. 600 rand. So 600 rand is like 30 US dollars. So Johannesburg is not cheap, and if you want to get some cheap places, there are a lot of cheap hostels and hotels, but they're in very sketchy areas. I don't think that you want to go to those areas where you can easily be robbed, you know. So you go to places where you are guaranteed of your security, you are very safe, your belongings will be safe. So I recommend you to go to Braamfontein. There are a lot of hotels around Braamfontein. I stayed at Banista, but also another place is Maboneng. Maboneng is also around that near Braamfontein. You can also go to Maboneng. You can get accommodation there at an affordable price. So with regard to accommodation, make sure that you prepare around 30 US dollars. 30 US dollars and above, you will get a decent accommodation. Below that, you will not get a decent accommodation. You will go to places where it's not very safe, and you will be vulnerable in those particular places. So yeah, I recommend you to go to Braamfontein, and you can just stay there. It's a very nice place for 600 rand. Yeah, sasa umefika jijini Johannesburg, na of course kama umefuatilia vizuri hapo, kwa shilingi 360,000 hivi au 50,000 utakuwa umefanya direct route kutoka Dar es Salaam mpaka Johannesburg. Kwa hiyo kwa 360,000 au 50,000 hapo ndio nauli halisi ya kukufikisha jijini Johannesburg. Kama hukulala kama umechukua gari mpaka Harare, mpaka Lusaka, and then ukaunganisha Lusaka mpaka Johannesburg, utakuwa umetumia kama kwenye 350,000. Sasa umefika Johannesburg, na utafika Johannesburg mida ya asubuhi. Kwa mfano kama umetumia route ya Botswana, utafika Johannesburg kwenye mida ya saa 12 hivi. Ukifika hapo mida ya saa 12 kwenye basi, usitoke kwenye basi, kwa sababu Johannesburg sio jiji ambalo ni salama sana. Kwa hiyo utakuta watu wote wamekaa kwenye basi hapo mpaka kumekucha kabisa, ile saa moja. Kwa hiyo kama umetumia ruti labda ya Zimbabwe huko, utafika Johannesburg kwenye mishale ya saa 3 asubuhi, saa 4 asubuhi. Ukishafika Johannesburg lazima ujue wapi unakwenda, vinginevyo watakuibia hapo hapo. Johannesburg ni jiji ambalo lina umaarufu wa kutokuwa jiji salama, yani. Kwa hiyo wizi na nini vitu vya kawaida. Kwa hiyo chukua taksi kutoka hapo utakaposhuka kwenye basi, kwa sababu hayo mabasi ya Zimbabwe au Zambia hayaendi kule park station, ambapo ndo kama kituo cha basi. Yatakuwa yanaishia kwenye vituo vyao, yani wana vituo vyao. Kwa hiyo kutoka hapo chukua taksi kwenda kwenye hoteli au sehemu ambayo unakwenda. Kama kuna ndugu zako, waambie waje wakusubirie kwenye, kama ni basi fulani, waambie, wao watajua ni wapi. Lakini kama ndo unaenda mwenzangu, hauna ndugu na nini, ndio hivyo. Lakini ukisema kwamba ushuke pale uanze kushangaa unatembea, hutochukua dakika 5, watakuibia. Yani watakuibia. Kwa hiyo andaa kama randi 100 hivi, zikutoe hapo zikukupeleke huko ambako unakwenda. You are now in Johannesburg, friend. I mean, Johannesburg is a very big city, and it's very developed city. Very nice. There are a lot of things to do in Johannesburg, you know. So I cannot predict how much you can use. It depends to your lifestyle. Most of you have asked me, how much should I have so as to explore Johannesburg? I cannot tell you exactly how much you are supposed to have, because lifestyle depends from one person to another. But I can tell you, if you have, for example, $60 per day for food and accommodation, so you can be able to survive in Johannesburg. So $60 per day, you can pay $30 for accommodation and $30 for food and transport. You are good to go. And a lot of things I can recommend you to do. City sightseeing on a red bus. You see the city through the red bus. So I did a video about that city sightseeing. You can watch that particular video. So yeah, you can pay about I don't remember exactly. I don't remember exactly the amount, but you can watch that video. I explained everything about that. But also you can go to Sandton. Sandton is a very developed city within Johannesburg. You can go to Rosebank. I explored Rosebank. So you can just find for my videos in South Africa, and you can get a lot of interesting things to do in Johannesburg. But also you can go to Soweto. Soweto is an historical place in South Africa, Johannesburg. So I also did a Soweto tour, so you can watch that video. So if you do this city sightseeing, you can combine it. You see the city, the Johannesburg CBD through the red bus, but also you can do the Soweto tour. So you can pay, I think it's around 550 rand. So 550 rand, you can be able to do the city center tour and the Soweto tour. So I mean, it's just a nice experience, which you can see the city of Johannesburg and the Soweto suburb. So I can say that at least if you have $60 per day, you can be able to explore Johannesburg. That is cover food and accommodation. So from Johannesburg, I traveled all the way to Maseru, Lesotho. Lesotho is a small country surrounded by South Africa. So I traveled there. I took a shared taxi from Nude tax rank or MTN tax rank. So you have to make your way to Nude tax rank or MTN tax rank, and I mean, you have to be very careful around that area. It's one of the sketch areas of Johannesburg. So if you get there, and then you can ask around where the Maseru's taxis are, and yeah, they will show you. But it's better you take an Uber or a taxi, and you tell that taxi to take you directly to where the Maseru buses are at Nuri tax rank or MTN tax rank. And if he or she doesn't know, she can ask around, and she can drove you there and drop you there. So from there you can go just to book your ticket, and you will go. It's only 330 rand, and you will pass through Free State province, different towns like Clockland, Lady Brand, up to Maseru Bridge, Maseru Lesotho. So the taxis will drop you at the border. You do the border formalities. If you are from East Africa, for example Tanzania, I don't need visa to go to Lesotho. I know other countries like Kenya also, maybe they don't need visa. But if you need visa, make sure that you make an arrangement prior your journey. So from there you can take a taxi for 12 rand up to the city center, Maseru city center. So you can explore the city center. I did 2 videos in Maseru Lesotho. You can watch those videos. With regard to accommodation in Maseru, there are plenty of accommodation, but the price is the same like in Johannesburg, around 600 rands. You will get accommodation there. So for more information about Maseru Lesotho, you can watch those videos which I did in Maseru Lesotho. It's a nice city. There are a lot of things to see. Yeah, so if you're interested to visit Maseru, this is how you can visit Maseru from Johannesburg, South Africa. It's only 330 rands, and you are there at Maseru Bridge. You cross the bridge to town and explore the town, and yeah, that's all about traveling to Maseru. So you can do it by road from Johannesburg to Maseru. I spent just 24 hours in Maseru Lesotho. It's just a small city, so I explored. I did 2 videos. You can watch those videos. So from there, I traveled back to South Africa, but I traveled to a city called Bloemfontein. So from Bloemfontein to Maseru Lesotho, it's like 2 to 3 hours by shared taxi, and the taxi fare is 150 rand. You know, so 150 rand, it's like $8, $8 to $10. You know, so yeah. I went to Bloemfontein, and yeah, I explored Bloemfontein. It's an interesting town, very quiet, kind of laid back, but it's very beautiful. You know, South Africa is not about Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban. There are other beautiful cities such as Bloemfontein. So I explored Bloemfontein, and yeah, it's a very nice, it's a nice place. Accommodation, there are a lot of lodges and hotels in Bloemfontein, but yeah, the accommodation price is 600 rand, around $30. So you'll go to a place called the Mediclinic. Around the Mediclinic, there are a lot of lodges. I stayed at a Hydro Lodge, and I paid 600. It's a very good lodge, free internet, everything. So it's a very nice place. So if you happen to visit Bloemfontein, you can go there. And yeah, the city is very nice. There are a lot of things to see around the city. There are museums you can visit, such as Anglo-Boer Museum. There are a lot of malls, beautiful malls, such as Waterfront Mall, the biggest mall in town. There is a stadium there which holds World Cup. Yeah. So there are a lot of things to do in Bloemfontein. So if you happen to go to South Africa and you want to see other cities, you can just make your way to Bloemfontein, Mangaung. It's called Mangaung. Yeah, so it's a nice city and you will enjoy. You know, South Africa is not all about Johannesburg or Durban or Cape Town, those big cities, but there are other cities which are very beautiful. In Swahili we say hawavumi lakini wamo. Kwa hiyo yeah, South Africa sio Johannesburg tu, sio Durban tu, sio Cape Town. Unaweza ukaenda hata kwenye mji ambao unaitwa Bloemfontein. Kwa mimi nilipotoka zangu Maseru Lesotho, nilienda Bloemfontein, nililipa kama shilingi 16,000 hivi au 17,000 za Tanzania mpaka Bloemfontein. Kwa hiyo ni mji mzuri na nini, accommodation zipo, lodge za kutosha pale, unaweza ukalipa shilingi 75,000, unajua kuanzia 70,000 75,000 ukalipa pale na ukalala na vitu kama hivyo. Kwa hiyo ya ndio hivyo wadau. Kwa hiyo kama utembelea South Africa, unaweza ukaenda Bloemfontein ukaangalia mji jinsi ulivyo na nini, ukaenjoy maisha. Yeah, so from Bloemfontein I traveled back to Johannesburg by bus, intercape bus. So I paid 340 rands. So 340 rands is like yeah, it's like $20, something like that, from Bloemfontein to Johannesburg. And you know, the roads are good. It was a night bus, and yeah, it was convenient, man. It's very luxurious bus, intercape buses. So I got to Johannesburg around 8 in the morning, and from Johannesburg there we dropped at the Park Station. I explored Park Station, so you can watch those videos. From Park Station there I took a how train to Pretoria, South Africa, you know. So I took a how train to Pretoria, South Africa, and I paid it was around 300 rands. I paid 300 rands to Pretoria. Pretoria is a nice city, administrative capital of South Africa. I mean, it's very beautiful. Pretoria is a beautiful city. If I am to live in South Africa, for example, I've not explored Durban or Cape Town. I heard they are very beautiful as well. But man, Pretoria was something else. Very beautiful city. So that's, if I have to stay in Gauteng province, I will choose to stay in Pretoria. So I explored Pretoria. You can watch those videos about Pretoria. Yeah, so at the end of this video I'll tell you the total cost of my adventure. So I paid 300 rand, and as I said about accommodation, I did not stay in Pretoria, but if you have around 600 rand, you can get a very nice place to stay. But also about the food, yeah, it's normal. If you, as I told you earlier, if you have a budget of around $60 per day in South Africa for food and the accommodation, you are good to go. Yeah, so after exploring Pretoria, in the evening I took a how train to OR Tambo International Airport, ready for my journey back to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. This time I had to take the flight because I mean I spent almost 2 weeks traveling by road, so it was very tiresome adventure. so I could not make it back by road again, so I had to book my flight. And this flight I used Ethiopian Airways from Johannesburg to Dar es Salaam via Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And yeah, in this trip, or in this flight, I paid 3,800 rand. I mean, it's like 210 USD for this trip. So at the end of the day, I will give you the total cost of how much I spent from Dar es Salaam to Zambia to South Africa to Lesotho adventure. So yeah, that's how this adventure took place, and I returned back safely to Dar es Salaam. And yeah, so next next segment I'll give you the total cost of how much I used in this adventure. So from this you can get a clue of how much you are supposed to prepare if you are thinking of doing this South African adventure or traveling to South Africa the way I traveled. Yeah, so friends, I think I have to give you the rough estimate of what I used in this Southern African tour. The total cost of transport from Dar es Salaam to Tunduma, to Nakonde, to Lusaka, Zambia. Accommodation in Lusaka, Zambia, I spent 3 days there, transport, food, and then transport from Lusaka, Zambia to Johannesburg, South Africa. I spent 3 days in Johannesburg, food, transportation, tours, and then I went to Maseru, Lesotho, transportation, food, tours, Bloemfontein, then I came back to Pretoria, and then a flight back to Dar es Salaam. So total of this tour, I spent like 720 USD. So roughly 720 USD. This is what I spent in my entire tour. So I was just writing down here to take the notes of everything, transportation, food, accommodation. So if you want to do a tour like this from Dar es Salaam to South Africa and back the way I did it, so you can prepare around 720 US dollars. Yeah, so kwa hiyo wadau, nadhani mmefuatilia kwa makini tour yangu hii kutoka Dar es Salaam kwenda South Africa, Johannesburg, kupitia Tunduma na Nakonde, then mpaka Lusaka. Nimekaa Lusaka siku 3, lodge, chakula pamoja na transport hapa na pale, and then nimeenda Johannesburg. Nimekaa Johannesburg siku 3, hoteli, chakula pamoja na mizunguko yote. Nimeenda Bloemfontein, nimeenda Maseru, Lesotho, baadaye nikaenda Bloemfontein. Kwa hiyo mzunguko wote huu hapa nimejaribu kuandika hapa chini. Nimepata total, nilitumia kama milioni moja na laki saba na kama shilingi 50,000 hivi. Kwa hiyo safari yote mpaka nilivyorudi kwa flight, kwa hiyo nitumia kama milioni moja na laki saba na 50,000. Kwa hiyo kupitia hii hapa unaweza ukaangalia wewe ni namna gani unaweza kufanya hii tour, kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa nafanya hii tour, nafanya mavideo yangu, ndio maana labda gharama ilikuwa ni kubwa. Maana yake nimekaa Lusaka siku 3. Kama wewe unaenda tu South Africa, maana yake una haja kukaa Lusaka kwa siku 3. Kwa hiyo kwa nauli halisi tu, nauli kutoka Dar es Salaam mpaka Lusaka, Zambia, kama nilivyosema, nimetumia kama 350,000. Kwa hiyo gharama nyingine hizi hapa nini sasa, kurudi kwa ndege na nini ndio imefika milioni moja na laki saba na 50,000. So kwa wale wadau ambao walikuwa wananiuliza, bwana mdau ni kiasi gani tu tukafanyaje na nini, nadhani hii video inaweza kukusaidia kwa namna moja au nyingine kujipanga na safari yako ya kwenda South Africa, kama unataka kwenda South Africa. So hakikisha umesubscribe kwenye channel hii, like video hii na share kwa ndugu jamaa na marafiki.